All right, so I'm out here at historic Tuckahoe Plantation. It's the boyhood home of Thomas Jefferson, and about 12 miles outside of Richmond. All right, so that was the schoolhouse, and it's where Thomas Jefferson learned to read and write. And you'll notice the high dome ceiling, and that was to so the hot air would rise to cool the room down. And back then they actually had class during the summer, and because in the winter the roads were impassable. The very front of the house is original, and you'll see the house is shaped kind of like an H, if you can tell from here. And the back of the house was an add-on. So yeah, I was going to explain the Randolph lineage. And so the first Randolph in the line to arrive, he wasn't the very first to arrive in Virginia, but that was William Randolph. And he showed up around 1669, 1670, and he was actually an orphan. And his uncle, I can't remember his name, I think it was Randolph, who was actually the first Randolph to arrive in Virginia, and that was in 1640. And yeah, so he sponsored William, brought him over here, and yeah, so William was the first. He arrived at Turkey Island, a little further east down the James River, and he married a lady named Mary Isham. And between the two of them, they were known as William and Mary. They were considered the Adam and Eve of Virginia because they had so many descendants. And that's not what the college William and Mary was named after. That would be King William and Queen Mary. But anyway, so his son, Thomas Randolph, better turn around. So his son, Thomas Randolph, was the first to settle Tuckahoe. And that was, I hope I'm right, if not, I'll put a little thing at the bottom of the screen. That was 1714. And so he built just a really small dwelling. And so yeah, he was the first on this land. And then his son, who was another William Randolph, that would be, and he was actually known as William Randolph III. He built the actual Tuckahoe house, and there's a lot of people here. Yeah, so he built that the actual house. That would be in the 1730s. And so then his son, which I guess would be the fourth in line, was another Thomas Randolph, and he was known as Thomas Randolph Sr. And he's the one that grew up here at the house with Thomas Jefferson. And just a side note on Thomas, he had 13 kids. His first child was also named Thomas. He was Thomas Jr. And so he had the 13 kids. His wife died, and then when he was in his 50s, he married an 18-year-old, and I can't think of her name right now. But yeah, a lot of controversy in the family. He married an 18-year-old, and they had a child, and she insisted that child be named Thomas Randolph as well. So he was Thomas Randolph Jr. the second. And I guess you can't really go in here. Yeah, so that was kind of weird. And he's the one who actually inherited the house. So you can imagine there's a lot of drama. But so, and also to let you know, there were 3 more Thomases going down the line. All right, so yeah, so the connection to Thomas Jefferson comes in. So William Randolph III, who was number 3 in line, he was friends with Peter Jefferson, and William's wife was actually cousins with Peter Jefferson's wife, and so they became really good friends. And yeah, so yeah, they were really good friends, and they had made a pact, and they had put, I guess, in each other's will that whoever died first, the other would take care of their children as if they were their own. William Randolph III, he died, and then Peter Jefferson moved from Shadwell out here to Tuckahoe with a 2-year-old Thomas Jefferson, and yeah, they raised William's children, and yeah, so Thomas Jefferson lived out here for about 7 years, and at the age of 9, when Thomas Randolph became of age, which was kind of crazy because at 11 years old they considered him being of age. The Jeffersons went back to Shadwell. So yeah, Thomas was out here for about 7 years. All right, the old kitchen. And you can see a giant cauldron back there. They said it took about 2 hours to get that boiling. And this would be Plantation Road. Maybe I can walk back in these gardens. Like I said, this house is still a private residence. So this would be the herb garden. All right, so I'm down here at the back of the south lawn, overlooking the James, and I don't know if you can really see it with this GoPro, but also there are railroad tracks going between here and the James. And pretty interesting story they told was that while Thomas Jefferson was governor, Richmond was under attack during the Revolutionary War, actually led by Benedict Arnold. And so he fled Richmond. He stopped by here at Tuckahoe to grab some supplies as he continued on to Monticello. And when he landed in Monticello, he was still under threat, so he continued on to Poplar Forest, his private retreat out near Lynchburg. So, and then she told another story that kind of sort of involves this plantation. It was the Bazaar scandal, it was called. It was the country's first scandal, and it involved Thomas Randolph Sr., his sister named Nancy. And long story short, if you're interested, you would want to go online to learn all the details. But when she was 19, she was kind of a little bit of a wild child, the way they made it sound. But she ended up at this place called the Bazaar Plantation out near Farmville. And long story short, she ended up supposedly having a child with a married man, and she was accused, or they were accused of killing the child in infancy. And there was a big court case involved, and they were actually defended by Patrick Henry. And yeah, so pretty crazy story. Sounds like it would make for a good mini series. So back here at the gravesite, and these graves are from the early 1900s, 1935, 1918. Looks like that brick wall was built in 1892. And kind of neat, on the way down here, I listened to the Virginia History podcast, and listened to a story about the ghost of the Gray Lady. And I think the tour guide, she tells that story during their Halloween tour.
see no gravestones because it was established as a crypt. Instead, there are engravings on the walls with the names of those who are buried here.
All right. And a little placard there for Thomas Randolph and Judith Randolph. That's a big dog. Ugh. All right, probably thinks I'm trying to attack the sheep over there. I don't know, but I'm gonna walk back this way. There's some chickens walking around over there too. All right, so I had to get away from that. And there's some horses over there. And yeah, I also wanted to let you know that Tuckahoe got its name from an Algonquin word for a plant that was popular at the time. And it almost kind of looked like a weed. And the Indians would cook it underground and turn it into some sort of flour. And it's also interesting because the Algonquin Indians were more in the Tidewater area. They were part of the Powhatan Indian tribes. And this is Monacan Indian territory. So, anyway, I'm right near the parking lot. So I think I'm just going to head out of here. So, see ya.